Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen in the news for being a douche again. Pisses me off, man. You know, I've been a fan of Bruce Springsteen since, I guess, 1982. I had a pal in high school who was a huge Bruce Springsteen fan, so I mean, it wouldn't have mattered if I liked him or not. I was listening to it. You know, I had to. We all had cassette tapes in our cars back then, and you know, that's just how it was. And I loved it. I mean, Darkness on the Edge of Town, Nebraska, Greetings from Asbury Park. My all-time favorite, The Wild, the Innocent, the A Street Shuffle. Great fucking record, man. Every song that guy sang was like an anthem to blue-collar, you know, red-blooded American patriots, hard worker people. I mean, these are the people. That was his target audience. Those were the people that made him wealthy beyond measure. And you know, you find out later in life, fucking commie. Yeah. And it's funny too, because you know, people don't really realize it, but Springsteen, you know, you hear about these artists that, you know, they struggled when they were young. Yeah, but they still made it when they were young. Springsteen was making records in his early 20s. So he's been a known person making money since he was in his 20s. You know, when you start making money, and you no longer have to worry about money, it's real easy for you to start thinking that we should be living under socialism, because it's never going to affect you. Jerk off. It sucks too, because I have so many friends from back home that are still Springsteen fans, and look, if I hear his music, I still love it. I still love Bruce Springsteen's music. But there are times now when it comes on and there might be a lyric or something where his hypocrisy is so obvious, it just ruins it for me. I gotta turn it off. I hate that. I hate that. I just hate hypocrites. I hate them. In all aspects of life, you know. And I know people, a lot of people, from where I come from, who have personal experiences with Bruce Springsteen, and they're all great stories. He's always super cool to everybody, which makes sense because his fans are, again, blue-collar, hard-working Americans. You know, the types of people where if you are a dick to them after they've been a fan of yours, you know, they'll friggin' clock you one. Jersey. When I went to OCC, I had a OCC, Hoop Are You? I had the same art teacher that had Springsteen in his class. He didn't like talking about it, you know, because everybody, that's all they wanted to talk about. We all have brushes with Bruce Springsteen where we come from. And you know, if you're from Jersey, and in particular the Jersey Shore, then you know, you understand his music because he's singing about all these places where you're at, Route 9, you know, so you have this love for it. And you know, I never went to a Springsteen concert. One of my biggest regrets used to be, until now, the fact that I missed this opportunity in like 1984. I was working on the boardwalk at the Jersey Shore, Seaside Heights at the time, and oh man, if you worked during the day in the 80s, in the early 80s, on the boardwalk, I mean, you're just talking to girls in bikinis all day. It's a good gig. Crochet bikinis. And there was this one girl in particular, and she just really liked me. She came by every day talking to me, and she said one day she had tickets to a Springsteen concert, and she said, oh, we're going to go in a limo, we got box seats, here's my phone number, call me. I wasn't into her, so I didn't call her. A couple days go by, and she came by the stand, and she threw a concert t-shirt at me, and said, you should have called. That used to be one of my biggest regrets, not calling her. Now I'm glad I didn't. I finally went to a Springsteen concert out here in Los Angeles back in, like, I don't know, 2004, 2005. The cool part was that Mike Ness got up on stage with him, and I'm a big Mike Ness Social Distortion fan. So, you know, that was neat. But, you know, he spouted off some of his stupid liberal bullshit on stage, and you're just like, dude, I'm not here to listen to your politics. People were yelling that in the crowd, actually. We're not here for your politics. Shut up and play the music. Even for LA, I was actually kind of shocked to hear that. But it's just, you know, he took your money for decades. All you patriotic Americans. Springsteen sang about you, for you. You know, you felt like he was one of you. And then you realize, no, he was just a businessman using you to get your money while he basically looked down his nose at you the whole time. That's the part that sucks. That's the part that sucks. So, you know, like him now calling for unity after he's been talking all this smack all this time. Fuck you, man. You know, it's such bullshit. So, and I'm kind of glad he's getting it from both sides. But it doesn't matter. You know, it's like, listen to somebody like Sean Penn when he says that we should all be living under socialism. If you haven't heard him say that, he has. I've heard him say it. Charlie Rose interview. It was a good one. Of course, because you think it's not going to affect you, because you have made it. You know, you've got all this money. It's not going to affect you. If you got millions of dollars in the bank, and you're world famous, yeah, the rest of us can have to live under socialism and socialistic ideas that make us all equally miserable. It's not going to affect you. If those policies aren't going to affect your life, your opinion doesn't matter on it. That's the part that sucks. Anyhow, I just thought it was funny. And it's funny and sad at the same time, because like I said, I really like Springsteen's early music, and I'll still listen to it, obviously, but, you know, just, guy's got to shut the fuck up about everything else. Anyhow, have a good day. Finally sanding these things out. I use 400 grit on this. I do usually do 2 to 3 coats. In this case, I did 3 coats of clear wipe on polyurethane without sanding in between coats. This is my tip. I put a few coats on. I'll tack it off between coats, you know, between which drying, just so there's no dust on there. You got to get all your lint off the rag first. I'm not going to get into that. Use some common sense. But after the 3rd coat, that's when I'll sand it. And because this is a shelving unit, it may only need 1 more coat, so it's a huge time saver. And if you think about sanding, if you put a coat on and then you sand it with 220, you're sanding the finish off, and you're putting a lot of scratches in it. So those instructions never made sense to me. You know, so 30 years of experience, this is what I learned. So I blew off some steam about Springsteen there. Hope it didn't offend you. If it did, toughen the fuck up. Have a good day.